We all know about the esoteric origins of German symbolism in World War II, but no one talks to us about the origin of the Allies' symbol, the White Star. We can see it everywhere, on half-tracks, on armored vehicles, on airplanes, and even on ships. And although whenever we think of the Allied symbol, a white star always comes to mind, it changed drastically in a brief period, resulting in dozens of them. Today we'll learn about the origin and history of the Western Allied symbol, the White Star, and the reason for its alternative versions. Get comfortable, I'm Kevin Aguilar and this is Grunsculo. The Allied Star definitely has an American origin since they were the first to use it back in World War I. But what does this symbol mean, or what inspired it? As I said, we all know the esoteric origin of German symbolism from World War II. This is a copy of the Buddhist and Hindu symbol of good fortune as well. According to the archaeological findings of Heinrich Schliemann, this symbol was also used by Germanic civilizations before Christianity. The Allied symbol seems to be a similar case and is not far behind when it comes to esotericism. It is a white star, and according to many theories I found, this symbol resembles the pentagram. The pentagram was generally used to represent the elements or the divine. For example, the most serious theory I found about this says that this star is based on the Tetragrammaton, which is the written form of God's proper name. In ancient Hebrew, represented by the four letters Yahweh, that is, Yahweh. So, according to this, the Allied star has a Hebrew origin. But this inverted one was also used as a satanic symbol. That's pretty scary, but it fits with all the esoteric things we can see related to the United States. Like I said, they're just theories, but both symbols look pretty similar, and they're definitely some of those things we'll never know for sure. This symbol could also be related to the United States national flag. Nations often represent their states or conquests with stars. The United States, at the time when this star began to be used, had 48 on its flag. So the origin of the Allied star could be this. These are the strongest theories regarding the origin of the Allied star, but even though both could be true, really, this symbol emerged from the constant adaptation to the battlefields of the 20th century. In the middle of World War I, the Air Force began to use this symbol. A white star with a red circle in the center, a symbol that during the interwar period was also adopted by the newly formed American armored divisions, this time with a red circle on the outside and a blue one inside. The purpose of these markings was clearly to distinguish allies from enemies. So when the United States entered World War II, they had to make quite a few changes, since it looked somewhat similar to the Japanese national flag. When the Americans joined the Allied war effort in North Africa in 1942, a variation was seen during this time. It was the typical star that we all know, with a blue background, removing the blue or red circle in the center, which quickly became just a star with stripes on the sides. The whole set could be yellow or white. By the time they were making preparations for Operation Husky, shortly before July 1943, changes were made again. This time they replaced the stripes with a circle around the star, which could sometimes be yellow. This was for quick identification, particularly of Allied aircraft. This symbol, roundel or cockade, was used for quite a long time. But when preparations were being made for the Normandy landings, it was thought that it would be problematic for all the armies to use their national roundels or symbols at the same time, so it was decided to use the symbol we all know as the Allied Star. The reason for using this specific roundel instead of one from another nation, such as the Royal Air Force roundel, is unknown. But, as they say in my country, the United States, it was the rooster that crowed the loudest on that farm. So, by the time D-Day arrived, all the Allied landing forces used this symbol along with the invasion stripes. British, French, Canadians, Poles, and of course Americans. They used them, since tens of thousands of vehicles had to be painted. Some of these showed variations like stars with broken circles, with complete circles, or even just the star, sometimes with a colored circle like yellow. That's why we associate this symbol with the Allies, and not just with the United States military forces. Most of the movies, photos, and documentaries we see from that time are usually post-Normandy landings. since that's when the battles in Europe intensified. Interestingly, the fact that the Western Allies used the White Star coincided with the Soviets and their Red Stars. So the Germans saw stars every time they were hit by the enemy. After the war, this symbol remained as the logo of the United States Army. It was used in Korea and in Vietnam, until it was retired in the 80s and permanently changed, putting an end to the legendary White Star. Even veterans of the Iraq War reported that if you touched the doors of vehicles produced in the 70s and 80s, you could feel the outline of the old white stars beneath the new paint. Something extremely interesting. Although we can't know if the decision to use a star was inspired by some satanic symbol or by the stars on the flag, we know that this arose from multiple adaptations to the battlefields and the needs of the moment. Some time ago, I uploaded a video related to this one, where we talked about why the Air Force used only one roundel on its wings. In it, we talked about these same symbols, but focusing on the air roundels, and of course, answering this question. Believe me, it's very interesting, and I recommend it to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.